In this episode of the Tequila Hombre, we're kicking off a new segment. It's called Mezcal Mondays, where every Monday we're going to post a review, a tasting, and taking a look at a mezcal. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at Los Vecinos Del Campo Tobala. Right here on the Tequila Hombre, coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at a mezcal on our first ever episode of Mezcal Mondays. Sure, I've done some review of a couple mezcals, but we're going to get a little more serious about adding some mezcal reviews and information here to share with you guys. So our first victim is going to be Los Vecinos Del Campo Tobala. And so what I'm going to do is go a little bit into the brand, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the agave. All right, a little bit about the brand. Los Vecinos Del Campo is a joint project between Sazerac and the owner and CEO of Casa San Mateus Distillery, Carmen Villarreal. Now, the name Los Vecinos Del Campo means neighbors of the field. And what they basically do is utilize 10 palenques, 10 mezcaleros to produce the mezcals that they make under this brand. They believe heavily in working in sustainability and making sure that they're not overusing crops and that it's a sustainable product, as well as contributing to the communities that make these mezcals and making sure that the mezcaleros and their families are well taken care of for their efforts and for the products that they're providing them. All right, so now that you know a little bit about the brand, let's get a little bit into this mezcal and the agave used. All right, so this Los Vecinos Del Campo Tobala is made from an agave called Tobala. So to give you a little bit of information about the agave itself, it's different from Espadin, which I did the review of their Espadin mezcal previously, and I'll put a link to it right here so you guys can see that one. With this agave, it's different in that it's a wild agave. So being a wild agave, it's scarcer than Espadin, so it's a little harder to find, and that drives the price up. What also drives the price up on it is the fact that it's got a 12 to 15 year maturation period. Now, one of the reasons why it's also scarce too is the way it reproduces. Now, this doesn't produce shoots off of it, which will grow pups, which makes it easier to replant and grow more Tobala. Instead, it has to be grown from seeds. So they have to wait for it full maturation, produce seeds, and then let the seeds fall and let the agave grow. So it makes it a little more scarce, a little more expensive. This expression is typically right around $100. You can find Tobalas. So as far as beginning tequilas go, this would be a more expensive beginner tequila that might be good. And the reason why it is good for beginners is because it's a little sweeter than Espadin, has a fruitier kind of flavor profile to it than Espadin. So it could be a little more pleasing to someone that likes a sweeter mezcal. But we'll get into that when we get into the tasting portion of this episode. Now, where do they normally find Tobala is in the higher altitudes, and it typically grows under the shade of trees, like oak trees and such. It's kind of like truffles a little bit. So if you want to look and try to find a Tobala, you can travel to Oaxaca, go up into the higher altitudes, and start looking under trees and see if you can find one. So that's a little bit about this agave. Let's get into how this mezcal is made. All right, Los Vecinos Del Campo Tobala is made in the state of Oaxaca in Mexico. The region is the Valles Centrales, which is Central Valley. The mezcaleros on this, now in order to find out who the mezcaleros were, what palenques that this mezcal was made at, I actually had to send my lot number in to Sazerac, and they actually told me where it comes from. It's not listed on the bottle, and since they have 10 different mezcaleros or palenques that they can choose, they don't list them on the bottle or don't use a single one for an expression. So this is actually a blend between two mezcaleros. It's from Israel Santiago and Margarita Santiago Hernandez. The water source that they use is a natural spring to make this mezcal. The agave used, of course, is Tobala. They use an earthen pit to cook the agave. Once the agave, and then in the earthen pit, they use 3 different types of wood, and I'll probably butcher the pronunciation of these, but it's Wamutil, Wahe, and Encino woods. Hopefully I didn't do too bad there. The extraction, they use a molina, or what we typically will call a tahona wheel. It's a large stone. They roll over the agave fibers to crush them and extract the sugars from the agave. It's then fermented in wooden vats, and then they distill it using copper pot stills. Now the ABV of this particular mezcal is 46%, and the lowest price I could find online is $91.99, and typical price that I see around there is right around $99. All right, so that's how this tequila is made, and some information, or mezcal is made, and some additional information about it. So let's get into the tasting of this mezcal. All right, showing you guys the pour. Of course, as usual, I'm using my Stazzle Jarrito nosing glass for high ABV tequilas and mezcals. So, of course, it fits with this. This is a higher ABV mezcal at 46%, right? 46? Yeah, 46%. All right, so there we go. Let's go up and take a look at what this looks like in the glass and get what it smells like and tastes like here next. All right, taking a look at what this looks like in the glass. As you can see, it's got this nice, see the tears coming down. So it's going to be viscous. It's going to have a nice mouthfeel to it. And then looking at the mezcal itself, it is crystal clear, beautiful, looks great. All right, so let's see what we get on the nose on this. Okay, we definitely pick up the alcohol in the nose, but also pick up a nice minerality to it, so you can really smell the clean spring water that they use. Definitely pick up some smoke. Has a nice fruitiness to it. And one thing that's really interesting about this is when the fruitiness and the smoke kind of come together, it gives you kind of a chocolate kind of nose to it. I'm also picking up a little bit of grassiness, a little bit of vegetalness in there as well. But it smells really, it has a really nice sweet smell to it. I like the way this smells. All right, so let's see what this tastes like. All right, see what this tastes like. Definitely has a really nice mouthfeel to it. Get a little heat from the alcohol, which you'd expect at 46%. Has a nice sweetness to it. From, of course, the cooked agave. But I'm picking up just a little bit of smoke. It's not overly smoky at all. I've had ones that were a lot smokier than this. And then there's a little bit of fruitiness to it, where it's kind of like a tropical fruit, where it has that fruit sweetness to it, but then also has a little bit of sourness in there too. So it's kind of a balanced fruitiness where it's not overly sweet. And then it's kind of floral too. A nice floralness to it as well. Picking up a hint of salinity, like saltiness in there as well. And then on the finish, it finishes with a nice fruitiness that's just a tad sweet, which is a nice finish. I like the way when it finishes a little sweet. I like that. This is very sippable, very enjoyable. I like it. So I recommend it. If you see a bottle of Los Vecinos Del Campo's Tobala and you want to try it, pick up a bottle. I think it's worth $100 to try it. It's a good example of a nice Tobala. And I think that if you've had Tobalas before, that you'd enjoy this. All right, so let me know what you think. How does it sound from the tasting and the information I provided in this video? Anything that you want, some additional questions you want answered? Comment below. Let me know. If there's a mezcal you'd like for me to try and do a review of, post a comment below. Let me know. Don't forget to like the video for the information I shared, and more importantly, don't forget to subscribe, because we have some other great reviews coming up, more mezcals, more tequilas, and the more when you subscribe, the more you comment, and the more you like, the better chances you are of winning one of our prizes once we hit those milestones of subscriptions. We already gave away our first prize. Our second prize is coming up once we hit 1,200 subscribers. So make sure you click that subscribe button. It's right there. And make sure you comment and like the video. And until next time, like I always say, except with a little twist, life is too short to drink bad mezcal. Salud. Thank you.